Welcome to the Near Memo, a weekly conversation about search, social, and commerce. What happened, why it matters, and the implications for local.
Anyway, let's move on to the Google Map cleanup. So what happened there? You pointed out on Twitter that and Joy Hawkins pointed this out, and I saw this where Google's changed some of its colors, and they're doing some other aesthetic things on the map. What's going on?
So last fall, they announced this change to maps, and they've been slowly rolling it out. It's now visible both mobile and desktop pretty much across the board. They've gone with subtler colors, more subdued colors. It looks much more like Apple Maps. And then, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, they announced a change to the pin shape so that other than the pin you are looking for, which is still the standard red pin, all the other ones have become smaller and rounder. And then if it's like a pack and you're looking at one listing within a pack result, those might show as little blue dots and get instead of pins. So they've reduced the size of the pins visible. But interestingly, when I started searching yesterday, I for whatever reason, I was looking at hotels nearby. And when you, at the default zoom level, when you went to a list of hotels, picked one out and went to that hotel and then looked at the map was just littered with either the ad, the logo ads or offers or hotel prices. And they were the most readable thing on the map. So it's just so fascinating to me that they would clean up the interface, make it more theoretically aesthetic, easier to navigate, more like Apple. They would, reduce the size of the pins so that they reduce distraction, all the while adding, and these aren't brief, they're long textual things like 15% off your next order of $50 or more at the pet store. When I was looking at a hotel, the ads weren't even relevant ads. They were geo-fenced ads. In other words, because they were in the field of view, I saw them, but they had nothing to do with me. Like if I'm looking for hotels, maybe a restaurant would be relevant, maybe not. But these were totally irrelevant ads and promotional things that were just very strange to me. So I am wondering whether Google has cleaned up ads or cleaned up maps so that they can make the ads more obvious and make it more valuable.
I just did a search for hotels San Francisco, and there's a very prominent. I didn't search for Hilton in particular or any brand, just the category. And there's a very prominent sort of box, for lack of a better way to put it. And I guess maybe this is the pin. It's not clear. Hilton San Francisco Financial District $125.
Yeah, the box
and that's
is their logo,
and that's
right?
and that's no. There's no logo here, but that is a that's the top listing, and it doesn't look like an ad. But anyway, it was kind of a little bit of a strange thing. But your thesis is this is all about sort of monetizing the map more aggressively.
Well, it makes monetization more readily visible. And so I think it's about, I don't know, it's all about that. I think that the map, I like the map better. I like the aesthetics better. I like the smaller icons. It allows them to reduce the busyness. What is discouraging is the amount of ads and notices that now appear. I don't know if they're dependent or independent variables. Obviously, Google is monetizing more and more services more and more aggressively over the past 5 or 6 years, and this trend is going to continue. So into this more open map comes more advertising. So I don't know if it's causal. Let me put it that way. It's just discouraging.
Correlative, if that's a word.
Yes.
How much do you think that Google's aesthetic changes have been influenced at all by Apple Maps? Do you think that Google is concerned that iPhone users are preferring Apple Maps to some degree, and therefore they needed to mirror the look and feel?
On my iPhone, I get nagged 10 times a day by Google to switch to Google. So I think they have a great deal of concern. I think the impact of them not being able to buy default position on Apple is going to be severe. I think that they are very worried about it. And I think the change in maps to make it more like Apple Maps is part of that. But certainly they're nagging, which is ever increasing.
Relentless.
It's like totally relentless.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, popovers and interstitials and all sorts of annoying interruptions that if I wanted it, I would have done it, but they keep hammering me. So
Yeah.
I think, yes, I think it is a response to everything that's going on. I mean, I think they're feeling the pinch, as it were.
Thanks for joining David, Mike, and Greg. To stay on top of the latest developments in local, subscribe to our newsletter at nearmedia.co. We'll see you next week.